Hello guys, welcome to chapter 4. In this video, we're doing chapter 4. And I'll tell you about it as we get started. This is Discover Your Skills, the first assignment of chapter 4. And this is all about banking. And I'll tell you more about that once we have our file opening. So we're going to open, restore a portable file. We'll go to our chapter 4 file. So you need to make your chapter 4 file and put your assignment files in there. And we're going to start with DYS open. Next. And we'll go back in to our chapter 4 and then our DYS assignment, and we'll save this according to our instructions as 4-1, chapter 4, average guy designs. Save. Okay, so now it's opening. This chapter is all about the cash. QuickBooks really breaks the movement of money into smaller steps. So you have sales receipts or invoices, right? However you bill your clients. Invoices is typically like if you do work, larger projects, you do work overtime, you send an invoice for your time. The customer then pays it at a later date. Sales receipts are you do work right then. Maybe you provide a small service and the person pays you on the spot and you give them a receipt, sales receipts. Well, once you invoice it, you're recording the income. Then you receive the money or record a sales receipt. And then you are receiving the money, and that money goes to what's called undeposited funds, which is an account that's very unique to QuickBooks. Undeposited funds, and it's kind of sitting in this made-up holding account, just like cash, but it's not actually in the bank account yet because your cash isn't necessarily in the bank account yet. Maybe it's in a deposit envelope on the way to the bank, or maybe they paid with a credit card, or maybe the invoice is out to the customer. Well, not at that point, or the credit card company. So they paid it with a credit card, but it hasn't actually hit your bank account yet, but it's so close and it's as good as recorded. So we're going to address that last part of the process, this undeposited funds, and then how we reconcile our deposits to what's actually deposited into the bank account, which is a check. Can I speak and type at the same time? I can. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do in 4-1 is just move money between bank accounts. And they have a special feature for that. It's called a transfer. You can see this in 4-1. So we are down to number 5. It says to go to banking and transfers. We don't actually have transfers on the home screen, so we have to use this tab up here, and we can see transfer funds. So we'll select that. If you notice looking at the top, the very top of my screen, I did toggle to QuickBooks Pro. So if you're not doing that, you're probably in QuickBooks Accountant. I had an issue with not seeing some of the options in the photos when I was trying to follow specifically. So if you have that problem, you might want to be sure to toggle to QuickBooks Pro versus the Accountant Edition. Okay, so we're in the transfer fund. It says enter this information to complete the funds transfer. The date is 12-18-2023. We have our account number 10,000 checking, and we want to transfer the account to our savings. And the amount we want to transfer is 1,000. And so we can see it shows the account balance in either account on the side. We say the amount, and then we go save and close. Now, they show you here in the text that when you go into the chart of accounts, if you double click on assets and liabilities, it will show you this sort of bank reconciliation where you can see all the transactions that have hit it and what the other side of those transactions are. And then with income and expense accounts, a report will come up. So you can test that, go in and click on those types of accounts in the chart of accounts. So we can go to the chart of accounts under company, chart of accounts. We can also get there under lists, chart of accounts, right on top. Let's go company, chart of accounts. Control A is also a shortcut to get here. So we're going to double click, number 2 in 4-2 is double click on the checking account. Now this is what I was saying by a register. We know that one side of the entry is the 1,000 checking account. So one side of the entry is cash. The other side of the entries are what these accounts are. Accounts payable, accounts payable, accounts payable. So that's us paying bills, right? We can see over here payments, no deposits. These are all credits to cash. And these are the accounts that they're going to. Okay, now they're telling us to open the associated register and note that the $1,000 payment is down here. We see funds transfer $1,000 under payment because it's leaving this account. So now we're going to close this. We're going to click the X in the top right and go into the savings so that you can see that it was transferred out. Here it is right here. And to show you what I was saying before, if I double click on this, it will actually take me to the transaction itself. You gotta click on the account. I think that's where I did, right where it said transfer. Click around on each transaction and it will take you to the source. So that's why you'll be looking there to make sure everything was recorded, right? If you're checking it to a bank account, trying to make sure everything's recorded right, you can drill down if you need to make changes or see the detail by just double clicking. Okay, now we'll close out. And I'm on develop your skills 4-3. So now we're going to go company, chart of accounts. And it says click the savings account to select it. That's the second one here. Oh, did I open accounts receivable or did I open savings? If you look at the top, very top, see, we're in accounts receivable, not savings. So we'll go out, double click savings. And then you can see in the top right, on the top of the screen, it always tells you where you are all the way on the right? It goes from general to more detailed. General on the left to more detailed on the right. So now we selected savings. We're on number 3. Choose account and then edit account. Now, what I figured out is that this you should see sometimes on the bottom, the very bottom of this selection. And we don't see it right now. If you see where you see splits and date and number, that is where you can see what they're talking about, which is to edit the account. So I'm going to try to make our windows smaller. See if that changes it. And it's not. Interesting. So another way to do this, I presume that a lot of you are not seeing the picture of the accounts, right? Do you see that on here? Right below my fingers. That should be in the bottom left, referring to being able to edit this account itself. I'm going to do is I'm going to close that out. I'm going to come here. The other thing you can do is when it's selected, click the edit button along the top, and you can see now we can edit this account, and it will literally be the account selected. So, and there's other ways. There's literally always 3 ways to do anything. Now they're telling us to add to the description River Bank Savings account. Bank account number 12345 -12345, and the routing number 599123043. And you can change the opening balance if necessary to set up a check order reminder, make the account inactive, and set up bank feeds from this window. So what that means is, let's say you start using a bookkeeper and accounting software after the business has already started. You have to put in an opening balance for when you started using this account, so that your records are right. Like if you had $3,000 in the account, you need to put that in by using that button right here. Okay, we're going to go save and close. And now we're under create an account. So they're telling us now, if you look at the bottom down here, you can see we have those options now: account, edit account, and we can also just go new. And they want us to add a credit card type of account. There are many different ways to account for credit cards. You can account for them just like a bank account. You can also account for them like a loan account, a liability account. So we'll say account name, River Bank Visa. Description, company credit card. Credit card account number 455 1234 303 04545. And if this card was in use before your QuickBooks start date, same thing as I just explained, is that you have to put in a starting balance if you had one. Now we're going to go save and close. And we're going to say no to setting up online services. Now, online services are like mandatory because they auto sync all of your transactions, which is incredibly convenient. Now, we obviously forgot to put in the number. You can see that because it doesn't have the number there. I'm blaming you by saying we. Account number here in the top right is going to be 2100. And there are kind of rules to how they use the numbers, which you can see. Assets are 1s, 2s, and then equity 3s, 4, and then income and expenses 5, 6s. There's, you want to have some sort of system, and you want to leave gaps in between each of the numbers so that as you get more descriptions you want to add, you can fill them in next to the accounts that they're closely related to. And you can even make sub-accounts of one topic so that you can keep track of that detail, but then you can have reports that summarize things into a bigger picture so that you can use the information for bigger picture decisions. Okay, we're going to close out of everything. And now we're going to get into making deposits. And we're going to see how these deposits go into an account called undeposited funds. So we're going to record deposits, which we'll see under the banking section here. We've used this before, but only very briefly. So now we can see that this pop-up came up. Payment to deposit. So now it says under the view payment method type, where that green cursor is, select cash and check. And this is the types of payments that we've already accepted. So we're just going to choose cash and check. Down here at the bottom, I can click select all to select all of these. And then the total we can see is right here, 2260, which is what it says at number 3 for 4-4. And then we click OK. Now it copied all of those over, and we're going to click OK to accept the payments for deposit and move on to the Make Deposits window. So this is the Make Deposits window. You can see it in the top right. And we'll finish the deposit by making sure we're depositing to the right account, which we are, and then updating our date, of course, which is 12/30/23. And then we will do the deposit, the memo deposit, which we have. And then we'll choose the print down arrow, which we can see right here. And then we'll say print slip. And from here, we'll go to preview. Now, only cash and checks can be printed on the deposit slip. You will need to make another deposit for the remaining payments, which we'll do next. So we're going to go at number 7, says save and close this. And now go save to save. We'll X out of here, save and new. That saves these deposits, and you can see them from, just to recap what just happened. Oh, can I go back? Previous, see that previous button I just clicked? So what we did here is we took them from the undeposited funds, which is where they automatically go when you receive the payments, and then we moved them into the checking account. So undeposited funds is just like a bank account, only it's not really anywhere, right? It's like in nowhere land. It's conceptual. So from undeposited funds, a debit would increase it, which is what we did before when we received it. And now a credit will decrease it, and we're increasing the checking account, just like that initial transfer we did between bank accounts. Okay, so now we'll go next, and we're on to number 8. And we need our window to select payments. We'll click payments at the top there. Now we're in payments to deposit, all types. So we can see we have MasterCard, Visa, Visa e-check. We'll say select all, okay. Those are copied over. So we're going to move these out of undeposited funds, and we're going to move them into the checking account, same date, deposit, and we'll say save and new. And you can see right here behind the scenes, they're going over that journal entry I just made with you. Now we're on to number 12. Make a deposit without specifying a customer. So why would you ever do this? Well, it says here, you and Guy worked at a quick sketch fundraiser where people could meet with a graphic artist for 15 minutes to describe a need they have for their organization. For $15, they received a sketch and a description of a possible solution to their stated need. Average Guy Designs made $5 from each of these quick consultations. So that means they paid 10, right? And they made 5. Because they were multiple customers whom Guy doesn't want to track individually, you will make a deposit to checking, directly crediting design income without using a specific item. Remember, items are what we use that were coded to various types of services. So this is just a quicker way to handle this thing that's kind of miscellaneous income, very small amount. You don't want to spend as much time on it. They're only making $5. They don't want to pay people to spend all this time tracking the money. So we'll just deposit it and record it. And we'll do that here. Complete the deposit with these entries. So we're going to make the deposit directly into checking, which, let me just... Okay, so we're at number 12. Complete the deposit with these entries. The date, 12/23. We always have to change the date. Deposit. Memo says quick sketch event. Now, the difference is we're not going to do received from, or you might do something like various in real life. The from account, we can see here, is 4320, design income, and the memo quick sketch event. And the amount is $200. And that's why they don't want to spend a ton of time on this, right? There's no item in this form, but you do need to fill in the account. Remember that there is blah, 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 blah. You cannot leave the from account blank because you must specify the other side of the transaction. So now it says behind the scenes, it tells us the journal entry. We're debiting the checking account and we're crediting income, which you should remember that journal entry from your accounting class. Okay, we'll save and close. Now we're talking about credit and debit card transactions. So credit cards are a liability, right? They're something you owe, and so the normal balance is credit. When you're using a debit card, right, then a debit card is representing a bank account. But we'll handle it a little bit differently so we know that that's what happens. So 4-5, enter credit card charges is an option in the banking area. See it in the bottom right, very bottom right, enter credit card charges. Because we have 2 credit cards to set up at this time, we'll need to choose the appropriate card before entering the other information. So credit card, we have a choice here. We have 2. So we want to use River Bank Visa first. Select the first one. Now we'll purchase from Star Office Supplies on 11/11/2023. Reference number is 01. The amount is $89.09, and the memo is Office Supplies and Customer USB Drive Giveaway, one word. Okay, so the account down here, change the amount next to account 64900. So that came up automatically because we chose Star Office Supplies, and most of the things we buy there are office supplies. What do you know? So we leave that, but we're going to change the amount to $57.84, and memo on the expense tab, you see below that, it says the $57.84 represents the amount spent on the office supplies only. Notice that office supplies filled in because the account was defaulted for the vendor. That's what I just said. Now, memo on expense tab. Remember in the past, I've told you I would often copy the memo from the top section to the bottom section because these things show in different places. But for our purposes, you want to follow the book. Now it says memo on the expense tab, specifically office supplies. So now we're going to set up a new account because even though our total purchase was $89.09, all of it wasn't office supplies, even though it usually is from this customer. Remember, these options on the right are if we want to pass the cost on to a customer. We're not going to do that in this case. Instead, we're going to tab on. Now we're in the account tab. So we're on number 4. Click the row below office supplies in the account column. That's where I am now. Now it says click the drop down arrow and choose to add account, which is an option at the very top. See it here. And we are going to number 5, choose expenses, and then click continue. And now we're going to add this account number. Our cursor is automatically in the number spot in the top right, 64400. You can tab or go into the account name, advertising, and promotion. And it's really good to keep track of advertising and promotion separately. So we could select a sub-account if we wanted to put it below marketing or something like that, but it didn't tell us to. Our description is advertising and promotion, including customer giveaways. And now nothing more. It says save and close. And now our number has filled in. So now notice that the amount, as I tab forward, usually the amount is filled in automatically. And it said, notice that the amount is filled in automatically. There we go. It filled in for some reason. I don't know if it, usually you cannot skip a line. Let's see if it will let me do that. Now in the memo, they say customer USB drive giveaway. And now save and new. Let's see if it takes it. It took it with skip line. What do you know? Okay, so now we're going to record a credit card return. In the next transaction, you will record a credit for a returned calculator purchased from Star Office Supplies. So we'll use this information. They have a visual for us to look at in this case. Choose refund credit. So let's see. Okay. We're doing a return. So we'll choose refund credit. And we're Riverbank Visa, so we're in the right spot. Refund credit, so now things change a little bit. We'll press tab and then S, Star Office Supplies at the bottom, tab. Now the date is 11/20/2023. Reference number is 01R. That's their system for returns. $10.46. Tab. Memo. Star Office. Returned calculator. And then they tell us memo on the expense tab. Star Office. Returned calculator. Like I often do. Recommend doing. So, save and close. Now, we'll pay a bill with a debit card. So we'll go pay bills. Pay bills. Here we go. Top under vendor, pay bills. And from here, we'll click the checkbox alongside professional software distributors. Use this information to complete the payment in the bottom window. So down here in the very bottom, we can see the information for the payment. So we have $12.27. And then we have method check, assign check number. You will record it as a debit card payment using the next steps. So we're going to click Pay Selected Bills. And even though we've said it's a check, a debit card is kind of like a check, right? So we're going to, we still have to wait a few days. It's not instant. So we'll click let me assign the check numbers, and we'll specifically type in DB for debit card. And then we'll click OK. And that way we have a system for knowing what our debit transactions are. We'll say done in the payment summary window. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is bounce checks in 4-6. We're going to go to receive payments. A bounce check is just when receive payments right here under customers. A bounce check is when someone doesn't have enough money in their account. It's called NSF, non-sufficient funds. We're going to click the previous button, which we should be able to see up here, to see the last one. And it says we should see Lucy's Cupcake Factory. Not what this one is. Check number 341 payment is displayed. Let's see if that's correct. Let's see. Hit the previous button 2 times, not 1. I'm talking and not reading specifically, even though I already did this. So, Lucy's Cupcake Factory check number 341, which you can see right here beneath that check number, is displayed. Click the record bounce check payment button on the main tab of the ribbon. So if you look up, the ribbon is that part up here on top, and we can see record bounce check. So now follow the steps to record the fee for the bounce check. Bank fee, $30. And the date is 12/20/2023, of course. And the expense account is pre-filled with bank service charges. Lucy has decided to charge an additional fee of $10 for the bounce check. So that means we're going to charge down here, we're going to put 40 because that's the fee being charged to the customer for the inconvenience of having a bounce check. We say next. And now this is a summary explaining what happened. And now we say finish. And they have the examples there with the journal entries too. So now we'll save and close. My Jing ball is right in the way. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Save and close. Okay, so now we get into the fun part of reconciling the accounts. 4-7. In this exercise, we'll reconcile the checking account in QuickBooks to the company's September bank statement for their actual checking account. So we're going to click the reconcile button under banking over here. And they'll open this beginning reconciliation. So we'll use this information to complete this first step. We have the checking account selected, tab to the date, the last day of the month. The beginning balance is already filled in. The ending balance is because it should have been reconciled from last time, and that shouldn't change. 676870 is our ending balance. The interest we've earned is $11.52. And the date is 9/30/23. And the account in the drop down button, and we'll choose add new. And they want us to set up other add new. There it is. Other income number 42600, and we'll call it interest income, which is considered other income because it's not the income you're in the business of earning. interest income from savings, money market, and checking accounts. Is the description. From there, we'll go save and close, and now it's in there. And now we're going to click continue. This is just the start. We're putting in the ending balance. They have the beginning balance. They have the interest, which we haven't recorded any other way. Although usually we do record it because it's synced with the bank account. So it's actually not normally a problem. But this is a more traditional way. So now we are in the reconciliation checking window. Now, number 5, click the checkbox alongside hide transactions after the statement's end date to concentrate on this reconciliation period. Up here in the right, so we'll click that. Oh, how much easier did that just become? So now they're showing us here checking account statement. It has their total deposits, total payments, beginning balance, ending balance, and then it has each transaction listed. Now, if we flip over to number 6, it says click the check mark column to the left of each transaction that matches the entry on the bank checking statement displayed above. This will clear it. The interest income appears in the lower right part of the window. When you're finished, your reconciliation checking window should match the following illustration, where we can see down here right now we have a difference, right? But once we account for all of our transactions and we can see that these transactions match what is on the bank statement, so this is a check, now we can see that there's no difference in the bottom right, and so we can say reconcile. We can't do this if we have a difference, and you'd be surprised how often there is a difference, and it is not this easy. But reconcile now. Yeah, okay. So now it's going to show us the reconciliation report. Number 8, click reconcile task icon. And I think they're talking about this report. Click summary and then select display. Here we are at the reconciliation report. So this is just a summary of what we just looked at. And you can see how it's a good recap of what happened, helps you understand that sort of thing. Now we're on Develop Your Skills 4-8. So we're going to close out of this and we're going to go chart of accounts. However you want to get there is fine. Now we're going to right click on our Discover credit card. And I do that by usually clicking down. Well, we want to edit the account, so we can also do that by going here, edit account. So here we are, Discover Card 2300, and they want us to take out the 6. That was an expense account, and so they want us to move it into company credit card. Change a credit card transaction. So, a bill for graphic art supplies was entered as a credit purchase instead of as a debit card purchase. And this exercise will fix the transaction so that it's recorded properly by deleting the incorrect credit card charge first, because the enter credit card charges window was used. The balance in the credit card account was increased, and the funds have not been removed from the checking account. Then you will put the transaction properly into write checks. So first we'll go to enter credit card charges. Save and close. Down here on the right, enter credit card charges, choose the Riverbank MasterCard, which we're in now. Click the previous button, the arrow up here at the top, and we're graphic supply shop and dated 10/30/23 Inc. And we're going to click delete, the delete X, which we see up here right above the Riverbank MasterCard. Are you sure you want to delete this transaction? Okay. And now we're going to close out of here and go to write checks and record this the right way because it was a debit card. So we're going to make sure our checking account is selected. The number is going to be DB for debit card. And we're going to do 10/30/23. We're going to pay to the order of graphic supply shop correctly. And now we're going to put in the amount, $164.50. And memo, purchased ink. And from the account, we have 6150 already. I don't know why we're in the bottom row, but we'll go down there, that's fine. And we'll tab out and it should update. It's interesting. 164.50. In memo, they didn't say in the expense tab memo, they expected that to update for us, but it didn't. So, because we're on the second line. Save and close. And now we did that rightly. So that's the difference between the credit card, paying a bill, and writing a check for dealing with debit cards. So now we're on 4-9. We're going to look at reports along the top. Then we're going to go banking. And then previous reconciliation. And account, we have the 1,000. We have detail selected. Transactions cleared at the time of reconciliation. And we'll click display. And now you can look over this report and the different options you have. If you hover over it, you should see all the pop-up options to save it and zoom in, print. There we go. There they are. You have to click in the right spot and then the Adobe options come up. And then you can look at the paper in your text, which goes over sections of this as well. So now we're going to run a register quick report. We're going to go click the check register. So we'll follow their way. So I'm going to home. In the banking area, we'll see the check register. And you can see how it pops this box to see what account we want to see. We do want to see checking. And now we want to locate professional software distributors transaction, and we'll click the quick report. So here it is to accounts payable. So we'll just double click. And now, we opened up the detail. We didn't click the quick report, but we might be able to click it from here. Reports, we can quick report. And because this month is set, you have to change the dates to actually see the report. And you can save it as a PDF and follow their instructions for doing so. I guess I should show you this. So we should select 9. This is 10. So we could do 9/1, 2023 and go to, we have 10/9/2023 here. So we could go 10/31, 2023. Tab out. This is the only thing we have for them. So let's do the whole year. One 2023 to 12/31/2023. Okay, so now the report you're supposed to make here within, this is 4-9, is professional software distributors. And they say make sure the quick report is still active in the window and then choose File, Save as a PDF. And now you want to save this. Oh, I was there. In DYS as chapter 4 _ B9 professional software distributors. Save. And that is part of DYS 4. That's something you had to create. So now we go Windows, close all. However you get to the quick report is fine. Okay, we're almost done here. Develop your skills 4-10. We're going to go back into reports, company and financial, balance sheet standard. Now we're going to tab and type 12/31/2023, and then tab again, which causes it to update. Trying to open this, and this is our balance sheet, which shows assets, liabilities, owner's equity. Close the balance sheet window, choosing not to memorize it. So for this assignment, only the ones you actually saved will be updated. In future assignments, I am going to have you save every report, but we won't do that yet. So it says close the balance sheet. And now to ask us if we want to memorize it, it says say no. Display and customize the company snapshot. So we're going to go reports, company snapshot. Here it is. Now, this is a little bit different. It says, depending on the date that you perform this exercise, you may or may not have information displaying as all of the transactions entered are for a future date. For this exercise, focus on how to manipulate the snapshots. So they're saying don't worry that you don't have any or too much data, and instead just focus on adding content. So to add content, let's make this bigger. You can customize these blocks, and it's to give you a summary. So you go add content, and then click the forward arrow twice. So right here, we can see there's a lot of options. And click add for the reminders content. So we should see reminders here on the right. So if you actually save those reminders, then that will be here. Remove the income and expense trend content panel from the snapshot by clicking the X. So once we're done, we click done. And now they're saying remove the income and expense section. So that's right here below the one we just added. So we'll click this X on the right, and that will delete it. And so you can customize this. and one below will snap up to take the place of whatever you delete. So now we'll click the restore default link, which we should see right here, which will bring us back to the way it was before. And then yes. And now we'll close out of this. Okay. So now they talk about bank feeds. Bank feeds are setting up your bank accounts to automatically import transactions to QuickBooks. And it automatically syncs all of those transactions. So it's a great thing to utilize. And the last exercise that we're going to do is 4-11. We're not actually going to set up a bank feed, but it's good to read through that section for sure. I think we should set up a bank feed, but that's okay. We're going to look at how you attach documents to a bill. So there was one other file that you'll need. It's called Graphic Supply Shop Receipt.png, which is in that download of files. So you should put that in your chapter 4. I meant to mention that at the beginning, but you can always go add it now, pause this and add that. So now we're going to go to vendors. I'm not even going to go to the home screen. We'll go vendors and then enter a bill. And now we're going to locate the bill for Graphic Supply Shop dated 12/3/2023. Here we are, Graphic Supply Shop 30250. And now we're going to attach our documentation to this. So you see at the top it says attach file. We can actually add our attachment here. So we're going to choose where to attach it from. We'll say our computer. It brings me automatically to chapter 4. And, oh no, I'm in chapter 3, desktop. Chapter 4. And here's our graphic supply receipt. And now we'll click done once we see it loaded, and then we'll click save and close. And it's attached. All right, and then there's tackle the tasks, which are great to keep practicing. Otherwise, I'll see you in reinforce your skills. Bye, guys. Do let me know if you have any questions on this as you go through, and I'll see you next time.